Chicago Bulls basketball is fun again. The Bulls are 3-0. They've beaten the Pistons twice, and they've beaten the Pelicans. No Zion Williamson, but you got to play who's on the schedule, and the Bulls have beaten everybody so far. First week impressions on the Chicago Bulls.
Definitely very, very impressed and encouraged. I think especially, I almost think their most impressive win was the first one. And it's funny to say that because they played the worst in that game, but they won that game based off of their defense.
Yes.
And I cannot remember a game in the last, ever since Tibbs left, where they won so emphatically because of their defense. Like, they may have had some wins over the last few years where they played decent defense and won, but they won that game solely because of defense. Like, it certainly wasn't their offense that won in that first game. It was all their defense. And, I think now you're seeing in the NBA, defense is probably like 90% attitude and effort. Like, if you're a team that's going to bring it in a regular season defensively, then you're gonna be average because a lot of teams don't bring it every night on defense. It's just a matter of fact. So when you combine that with the fact that this team is much more athletic than they were last season, that just makes for a good defensive team. And I think people were kind of overlooking that coming into the year of, oh, well, they weren't good last year on defense, and they added some pieces, and you kind of don't know how they're all going to fit. So who knows how the defense is going to be? They might not have been great individual defenders elsewhere, but they're all athletic, and they've all bought into what Donovan is selling them defensively. And when you have an athletic team that's bought in on defense, that's dangerous. Like, that's hard to that's probably not going to be a bad defensive team. That they're going to figure it out. So I think that bodes well for them when they play good teams, because I think the Bulls have shown that they're athletic and they're gonna bring effort. Like, if you come play the Bulls, you better bring effort. If you don't match their effort, you're going to be in trouble. So I think it sets up for them to be a pretty darn good team this year from what we've seen.
I agree with you. I agree with you with the win against Detroit on opening night being probably their most impressive win, because it was a win they grinded out with the defense, like you said. And think about what we're talking about. Chicago Bulls basketball is fun again. And the first thing we're talking about is defense. We're not talking about the four guys averaging 13 points or better. We're talking about how they're clamping teams down. We're talking about Lonzo Ball showing his ability to defend on the perimeter and inside against driving opposing players. Zach LaVine getting much better at moving his feet, closing out on shots. Nikola Vucevic walking double-double. Javonte Green. I want to get your thoughts on Javonte Green. His agility, his athleticism, his versatility for this Bulls team has been key. What are your thoughts on Javonte Green?
Yeah, he's been incredible, and he was incredible in the preseason. You saw him play in place of Patrick Williams, and you started thinking, well, they might have something with this guy as a nice bench piece, and he looks like he's going to be. Again, I said this team is going to bring effort. Like, it starts with him. Like, he checks in the middle of the first quarter with that second unit, and it's like it's instant energy. And it's him. He's in your face, and him, along with Caruso and Ball and Ayo, are just like complete pests on defense. Like, it's been so much fun to watch. And in Javonte's case, I think he is, to me, he's like the poster child for the scouting ability of Arturas and Eversley. They went and then sought him out. He's basically a throw-in at the deadline last year in one of those trades. And they obviously wanted that guy for a reason. They saw something in him. And now Billy Donovan is putting him in positions to succeed. And that's a lot of – it's almost like in any other sport, like especially like I kind of in football sometimes. Football right now, we're all talking about how Nagy doesn't put guys in positions. Like the Bulls with Lonzo and with Caruso and with Green and with Ayo, they're putting these guys in roles and in positions where it's going to maximize who they are. It's going to maximize their strengths. Like, they're playing a completely different style of defense than they played last year. They're fighting over screen instead of dropping down, playing that drop coverage. They're not doing that as much anymore because
no more of that blitzing the ball handler either. Like that blitzing the ball handler and trying to run 25 feet to cover. Like, no more of that. Like, we're seeing a lot better defense
because they have pieces. So they're designing their team and their scheme to the pieces they have.
Exactly.
And that's a sign of good coaching, and it's a sign of cohesion between front office and coach. Like, there's just a lot of things to be encouraged about. Like, we haven't seen this type of synergy, I feel like, with
Yeah.
a roster since Tibbs.
Tips, yeah. I would say the D Rose. I would say the bench mob era.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I was excited about the Bulls coming into the season was the D Wade, Jimmy Butler, Rondo year. And what we're seeing out of this Bulls team right now, we keep talking about defense, but it's turning into points off turnover. They're averaging 24 points off turnover. We're seeing alley-oop dunks, highlight plays. We're seeing Javonte Green catch alley-oops, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams catching alley-oops but laying them in because he's still coming back from injury. So it's like, everybody's flying around the court, man. It's just an exciting time in Chicago Bulls basketball again.